What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one, and I just watched a movie called Bikeriders, starring Tom Hardy, Jodie Comer, and Austin Butler. First of all, throughout the history, biker movies, it's a thing. It's a thing. Trust me, all the way back to Easy Rider and all that, which I did not see, unfortunately. It's been a thing for a minute, just kind of underground. So I just like to talk about Hollywood and biker movies, or biker flicks, as I know it, and it's the state that biker flicks is in. I think it should be a little better than what it is, but it's just it's really just not even barely above water, to be honest with you. Example: Torque, which came out in 2004. I'm not going to name the year for each one of these, but for this one specific one, I got to do that because Torque really was coming out around the entire Fast and the Furious hype, right? And it's supposed to be like the biker version of Fast and the Furious. That's how I saw it. It was flashy. There's a bunch of ridiculous things going on in the movie, like somebody riding their bike so hard on gasoline until it sets a fire and it blows his enemies up, or whatever dumb crap is going on with that. Okay, and then Ice Cube's in it. I forgot what he even does in the movie, but he's in the movie just to get some rapper cred in there. Okay, now it has nothing to do with Fast and Furious timeline wise, or within the same universe. Not even that, but it's just they were trying to get the same Fast and Furious feel for this film. All right, obviously, and it halfway worked. I didn't really care about this movie like that. Entertaining for the time you watch it, just not a rewatch. I'm not gonna go back and be like, oh, I need to watch this movie again. It's so good. No, it's. I'd rather watch one of the other corny ass Fast and Furious movies that I've already seen. Okay. Hell Ride. Now this is a gem. This is actually a very good movie. All right, it's from one of Quentin Tarantino's homies. I forgot his name already. I think it starts with an F. But yes, and the other producer, I think it was in one of the Kill Bill movies. I think Kill Bill 2. All right, is a strip club owner. So yeah, and now he's a biker in this one, and they got some other familiar faces in there who Quentin Tarantino also does business with and has in his movies a lot sometimes. And this is a very raw, gritty, sexual movie. Sometimes sexual for no reason, but still entertaining. Still very entertaining. And so I liked watching that, and I recommend this film for a lot of people who just like biker movies and like something to keep them interested throughout the entire film. You will be. There is no downtime to this film. I promise you that. I promise you that. Okay? Might be the best one out the list. And then let's talk about Biker Boys with Larry Fishburne. Kind of feels like the same vibe as Torque. Not really. In this case, this is going to be the black version of those biker movies, because it's 100%, well, not 100%, I say 98% of the cast is black in this movie. And you got Larry Fishburne, of course, and you got some other actors who really didn't make it outside of this movie. A bunch of drama. It's pretty much the hood on bikes going on here. And I'll say this, the storyline is a little more shined up or polished than in Torque. But still, it's just not a rewatch. it doesn't have rewatch quality or value or anything like that. Not to my what I've seen. Okay, from what I can tell, or the first time I watched this movie, I didn't catch that. Barely entertaining. All right, and then we can get to another 48 hours. Now, I know you're asking, why would you put this on there? Yeah, I didn't think about this, and I've seen this movie a lot of times, especially when HBO used to play the hell out of this movie. I saw the first one. It was cool. It was a classic, whatever. Then the second one came out and had these crazy ass, ruthless bikers in the movie. And it was based around bikers. And they were doing some crazy stuff. They were blowing people's ears off. Just brutal. These bikers were brutal that Eddie and Nick Nolte, or whatever his damn name was in the movie, were going against. All right, so it was interesting. I kind of feel like another 48 hours was better than 48 hours to me, because I remember that more than the other one. Honestly, the plot was just a little more interesting, and I hate to say it, it was more interesting than the first 48 hours. Okay, I can't even remember who the villain was in that, but for another 48 hours, I know who it is. This crazy guy. This crazy ass guy right here was the villain. Okay, undoubtedly. And so yeah, it's another unexpected one that I didn't really think about. Hey, this is kind of a biker's movie, but that's it. That's it for that one. Last one. This is actually a TV show. Mayans MC. Yeah, Mayans MC, man. Now, I didn't see Sons of Anarchy. I didn't see that one, unfortunately. And I kind of feel like Sons of Anarchy would be better than this show. But it was decent. It was decent. You got the whole somebody's not who they say they are thing going on, or they just don't know, and all these, secrets people are keeping from each other, and it's just nobody knows who's what and what's what. And it's some sneaky stuff. I saw season 1. Season 2, didn't see it. I think it was season 3 too, but I don't know how far it actually went. But season 1 was okay. It was just okay. It had interesting characters. But I felt like maybe, just maybe, it would have gotten better and better and better with each season if they would just focus on it and actually care about the show. I guess after Sons of Anarchy, they were like, yeah, you know what? Sons of Anarchy, we're not topping that. Let's just cancel the damn show. We don't care about this crap. I don't know if it ever got a proper outing or not. It just stopped showing, so I don't know. And now we have Bikeriders. And my question is, will this be a better entry to put biker flicks a little higher up on the map than the other ones? We're about to find out. Let's go. Bikeriders, for those that don't know, for those that are not aware, I actually don't blame you this time. This movie was barely advertised. Barely advertised. If you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you didn't. No one pumped this up. I haven't seen anyone do reviews on this. There probably have been reviews on this, but no one's really putting their attention on this. Okay, so now I am. So yeah, you get a pass for this one. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Bikeriders. It's pretty much about this girl named Kathy and how she met this guy named Benny through a biker gang. All right, she came to the bar with some friends one night. She was introduced to this. Well, she was introduced. The biker gang was all around the place. They were all around that bar. They pretty much owned that bar. Then sit in the corner, this cool ass Benny, and he wanted to talk to her. He had something to say to her. Brought her outside, let her hop on the bike. The other bikers kind of grouped up around him and pushed her on the bike. It's kind of weird. And then, yeah, and so they rode off into, I guess, the sunset. I don't know. What happened after that was kind of crazy. A little crazy. I'll talk about that later on. But she basically was being interviewed by this journalist who was asking about this certain biker gang from the Midwest, from Chicago. And she told him, how they met and the rules and regulations to the gang and what they do and the festivities they get into and the kind of things they do and blah, 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 blah. All right. And then everything seemed to be going, pretty good for a biker gang until the new guys came in. Somebody who saw something they wanted to be in that gang. They weren't well received by that gang, and now they have issues from this new little upbringing of punks that want to be in that gang. And that's pretty much the premise of the movie. Positives. This most definitely had the vintage look, the old school look, the jackets, the hairstyles, the just the motorcycles, the choppers, all that. It just brought you back to an old school style of things and how things went down back in the day. You keep forgetting that you are in the present time. Watching this movie, the music in the back, the music, everything, the whole setting of the film. All right, and it's good to see films like this because I hate to say it, the throwbacks, the biopics, they kind of top a lot of modern made movies. All right, it's sad to say. The last time I really felt a movie for the era it was in at the exact time that we're going through it was somewhere in the 90s. This 2000s era, man. It sucks. It sucks. It's not a good vibe. 2012 on up, not a good vibe at all. I prefer a throwback type movie to that, honestly. All right, another positive. Kathy's voice was his own character, man. All right, and I know other people in this movie, other bikers and stuff like that, talked in a crazy way, not a crazy way, but in a specific way, because they're from Chicago, and Chicago has a certain lingo that they talk and they go by. But Kathy just sounded like a Wisconsin mother. Don't you know? Don't you know? And all this other stuff. I've heard sound like a Rastafarian with that. She sounded like that. If you ever seen Bobby's World, the old cartoon, and how his mom sounded, that's how she sounded, but with a little bit of gruff to her. Okay, and so every time she talked, it made me laugh. I chuckled a little bit, not even gonna lie. And she was probably one of the most interesting characters, at the same time annoying. I'll get into that a little later on. But yeah, it was annoying also, but for the most part, she was original with that voice. Okay, another positive. The violence was well balanced. It had well balanced action in this movie. It wasn't like there was a whole lot of fighting for no reason and people just punch. That would have been entertaining too. But you have to be realistic because this is a biopic. So you can't just sit here and lie and say they were fighting all the time. You had dialogue that led up to the fight. It made sense. Then if the fight happened, they would explain it. They explain why these people are fighting, or you'd get it. So it actually fit into every scene put on this film. Why they fought, what the fight was about, what the violence is about. It all made sense. It wasn't just mindless violence. And I don't mind mindless violence either. But for this being a biopic, it just fit right on in there. The way they just kind of balanced everything out. All right, so you know, you have your rules of, if you want to override the boss, you have to fight him to a knife fight or a fist fight and stuff like that. That was pretty, you know, that was pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. Of course, why not? They gotta have some kind of rule, right? Last positive. Benny was the truth. From the time Benny set foot on that film in that bar, when they showed him at that pool table by himself, he was a lone dog in a biker gang. In a gang. He was a lone dog within himself. He stood by himself, even though he wasn't the boss. Johnny was the boss. Tom Brady and Tom Hardy. God dang it. And so it kind of felt like Benny was. And Johnny wanted Tom Hardy to be the boss multiple times, because Benny to be the boss. God dang it. Benny to be the boss, man. He wanted Benny to be the boss multiple times. All right. And because of his swagger and the way he held himself, the confidence. He didn't have to say that much. He just presumed that. It just came off of him. All right. And he felt like he'd be the better leader in a lot of instances and cases, because Benny got right to it. They had a fight in a park scene. Johnny was trying to talk it out the entire time, and Benny stepped up and he's like, "What are we talking about?" Comes up and punches the guy right in front of Johnny. It just starts beating. Everybody just starts beating the crap out of each other. I mean, what's with the talking? Let's get to it. That's pretty much what Benny was saying. Let's get to it. I don't care about all that talking. Let's do this. I'm not scared of crap. He wasn't scared of crap. He got beat up in his bar by these two guys who just didn't like bikers, and he got pretty messed up. But he stood up for himself. He did not shake, shiver, no fear in this guy. The real one. Negatives. The kid is a great trip. Yes, I haven't said great trip in a long time. If you don't know what great trip means, that means a character who is both great but hated at the same time. In this case, the kid is the leader of the new guys, the young punks, the guy who saw the activity that the old gang was doing and he wanted in. He tried to get in and he got embarrassed in front of his own crew. Honestly, he didn't give the right answer. Tom Hardy was like, "Hey, so I can only take you. If I'm going to take you, I can only take you. How about that?" And the kid was like, "Well, sorry, guys. And that was the wrong answer. Totally. And he was testing him. And so he didn't let him in because of that. Had to whoop him in front of his homies. Had to beat him up because he didn't take that too lightly. So he came back with a vengeance. The first time you see the kid, well, not the first time. The second time you see the kid, his friends come to his house. They go in to get him. His father or stepfather is beating the crap out of his mom with a belt. He sees it. He's like, "Hold on, guys. Let me handle something real quick." And he goes in there and he knocks his father out and takes the belt and starts choking his father. And he doesn't kill him or anything, but it's just that being your intro to you and your crew actually going out and doing things. It's insane. It's insane. Okay. So he's the great trip. And he's also at the same time, I really hated his character. It's a certain thing he does in this movie, and I'm not going to get into it, but it was pretty low down and dirty. And I hate his character for that. But other things, it made him interesting. It made him interesting, at least. Kathy is a pest. Yes, the voice is unique and entertaining and blah, 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 blah. But she's so annoying, especially when it comes to Benny. It's like she's his mom. You have to lay off. You have to let this man be a man. Let him be a man. Let him do what he wants. He needs to do. Let him kind of call a shot sometimes. He's part of a biker gang, and this is not showing him being biker gang material. You're the one pulling by his ear, acting like his mother. None of the other wives are doing that. They don't even come out. Well, that's not. I'm not trying to enforce that, but they're not. They're not coming out the house. They're kind of scared because of the guy they're affiliated with. They're kind of scared to come out the house. That's kind of crazy, but it's what it is. And that's not my point fully, but you know what I'm trying to say here. Just come on. It's a biker gang. She most definitely was trying to get this guy out of the gang. After all the stuff that was happening, she was just kind of begging Johnny to get him out, please get him out. But she was being a pest about the crap. All right, that man's gonna get out. He's gonna get out. All right. Last negative. Funny Sonny wasn't being funny. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. This guy came into the group out of nowhere. This guy from Walking Dead, Remus or whatever his name is. He comes in on his bike, and all of a sudden he's just, hey, I heard about you guys. Later on, he's around a campfire, and he says, my original reason I was here is because I was here to get one of the other members. We're going to beat him up. We're going to check him because he didn't give up his jacket. And the whole time, that dude was scared as hell. But then he starts laughing and everybody laughs, and then they play it off like that was just a joke. Oh, he was just kidding. No, that dude was genuinely scared. So he was telling the truth. He was gonna get him. He was gonna get that guy. But he changed his mind because he just loved hanging with the group so much that he's like, oh man, I'm cool with this group. I fell into a camaraderie with this group. So I'm not going to do what I was going to do. That's basically why he didn't do what he's going to do. He got cool with everybody, but he was telling the truth. And they try to make it seem like he was telling a joke because that's his character, to be funny all the time. It was not a joke. And I just hate how that was downplayed like that. And just kind of brushed under the table. All right, because he wasn't joking around. This is insane. Okay? I'm still giving this a hell yes. Hell yes to this movie, man. Hell yes to this. Very underground. No one paid attention to this movie. It is a one to go see. You must go see this. Check this out. And if it comes out theaters, download this. Stream it. It's worth the watch. More biker movies need to step their game up. All right? In the future. Press that like button, subscribe, you better share.